Hello everybody, this is Joe, back in Zephyr Park for another video. Got my shirt on today, it's kind of strange to see myself that way. Um, this is the Golden Hour, and I am Joe Neely. You can check up on the show at joeneely.net/goldenhour or leave comments on the YouTube, and I will get back to you. I'd like to do shout outs to people and answer questions in the daily videos. So please share your thoughts and I will share mine. I really hope to start a dialogue with many of you. When I woke up this morning, I found myself putting on fears as I was becoming conscious. I caught myself in the habit of putting on a fear of this or that. And I had to remind myself that there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with the day. Everything is going exactly as it should, as I want it to, and everything is working out for me. And when I get up in the morning and I start lying there half asleep, half awake, starting to wake up, it's a powerful time for me, and I realized today, oh, I don't have to put on that, whatever it is, fear, that attitude. I can breathe easier and I can allow everything to be as it is because everything is great. So it's really wonderful to notice those things. It's really wonderful to build self-awareness. Just as I'm building muscle, I'm building self-awareness, and I find new little things like, oh, I don't have to do it like that. I didn't even realize I was doing it like that, but I am, and I could do it a better way. Speaking of muscles, I did 80 push-ups today in 4 sets. Felt better about it. I want to do 80 a couple more times until I really can't stand not doing more. Really want to make it solid at this point. It's nice to rush up to numbers and try to get them and try to achieve, but it's also really nice to get solid. You don't have to go back to the beginning. You don't have to do one perfect push-up. The trick is, at any point you want, you can get solid. And that's what I'm doing. Also did some tree pose today. You all know I love tree pose, and I'm getting better at it. I'm remembering to get my bent knee out to the side, keep my hips forward in what I described in another video as a pelvic thrust, and to do my different hand motions. And I'm starting to feel my leg, especially my right leg, which must be stronger than the left. But both the legs, I can feel them getting stronger. I can feel myself getting more stable. Whatever small muscles I use to balance that don't get a lot of work in my everyday life are starting to get stronger. So that's pretty neat. Of course, balance isn't just about that. It's also about the head game of it, of keeping everything still and balanced and clear, of, just getting the mental balance as well as the physical balance. So yes, lots of good things are happening to me. I hope lots of good things are happening to you. I am also enjoying the pelvic breathing exercise that I discussed way back. I think it was episode 2 or 3. And I read somewhere, it may have been Mantak Chia, that we have 3 diaphragms. We're most familiar with the first diaphragm that's, below our lungs, and when our lungs expand, of course, part of that action is due to the diaphragm pulling down, making space for the air to rush in. Of course, our body expands in all directions when we breathe, but there is that first diaphragm between your lungs and your guts. From what I understand, there are two others, a pelvic and a urethral diaphragm. Now, of course, when you breathe in, the air comes in and you can kind of feel a pressure underneath your lungs in your guts where your lungs are expanding your guts down further. You can also see your stomach stick out a bit because whatever, guts are up there against your lungs, well, those have to push down further, and those push the next one down further, and they push the next one down further, and they push everything out to the sides. So when you breathe, you're filling a balloon that's kind of pushing into another bunch of stuff. It's pushing into maybe another bunch of small balloons, for lack of a good metaphor there. But yeah, it's pushing your organs, these smaller balloons, down and around. Of course, it's very healthy, both for your digestion, to breathe deeply because you get more movement down there. Things don't get stuck. As well as for your other organs, it's really healthy for them to move around. And down there are two more diaphragms. The one at the bottom of your lungs pushes your guts into another one, which I believe is in your pelvis and keeps most of your intestines, kidneys, liver, and that stuff separated from the colon and other sexual organs, I believe. Please don't quote me on this. This is only off of some knowledge I gained a while ago, and I'm sure if you're an anatomy expert, you can help me out on this. And please do. Please leave a comment and let me know more about this. But the way I understand it is you have lungs and then a diaphragm and then some guts. And then you have a second diaphragm. It kind of keeps things separated down there. I believe it's near the kind of middle top of the pelvis. And then there's another one, the urethral one, right at the very bottom, which basically just keeps everything else out of the actual organ that you urinate from, whichever that may be. For any of you aliens out there, please drop me a comment to this video and let me know about your alien biology. But I know that humans have urethras, and there's a diaphragm to keep everything else out of that. So, I labored under the delusion for a long time that diaphragms were not muscular, but they were simply like some saran wrap that kept things separated. And you may have noticed some of that attitude in my description of this. As I said, my knowledge is still growing, but I'm putting out there what knowledge I have, and hopefully you can help me as you learn, as you grow, as you look things up, as you discover things. Please let me know too. Anyway, we'll all get there together, but from what I understand more recently, actually talking to a vocal coach, I didn't believe him. I thought the diaphragm was non-muscular and just a clear barrier between guts and lungs. And he actually looked it up on Wikipedia and showed me. And now I know that the diaphragm is muscular. Breathing from it right now. I'm also working on breathing silently, which is a good trick. It's one sign that my throat is opening and that I'm not constricting myself as much as I used to. Anyway, I wonder, and if any of you know, please let me know, do you think the other diaphragms, the other two below the main diaphragm, are they muscular? Or when we breathe in, do we just have the first muscular diaphragm pushing down the guts into the next one, pushing down some more stuff into the next one? I don't know. I do know that I can feel all the way down through all three. I can feel like a pressure difference, a pressure wave. It also feels, for you tantrists like me, that that pressure is turning on and arousing certain good feelings. Breathing deep again. You can pretty much tell anytime I'm silent on these videos that I'm breathing into somewhere. Anyway, I can feel all the way down into my second chakra, the sexual chakra, the sexual organs. I can feel all the way down into them. Trying to feel all the way down into my first chakra now. Slightly different pressure. I don't know what I'm moving around down there to make that happen. And the first and second chakras are both so related. I can move something around or breathe a slightly different way and feel my first chakra moving, just slightly, the anus and the perineum. And if I breathe slightly differently, I can move up into the second creative or sexual chakra and the organs associated with that. So, I encourage you to go back to this. This is something that we were practicing very early in this video series, and it's something that I hope you will continue to work with. I feel, not that I'm pushing or that I'm trying to make anything happen while I'm doing this practice, only that I'm allowing things to flex and move, that want to flex and move. I'm not trying to do anything, I'm just releasing things that I normally keep pent up. Of course, this is great emotionally for people in our culture who have strong taboos towards sex and shit and piss and all of that. So, it's funny, when I use those curse words like shit or piss to describe, excrement, it feels different than using, a very academic term, but it also feels cheap and crass. When we express our against those taboos, when we break those taboos, when we say fuck you or eat shit or you're a pissant or something, when we talk that way, we're comparing these people to these things we've tabooed. We put a negative on our first and second chakras, and then we compare people to that as a way of putting a negative on them. And when we use those words that are off limits almost all the time, it's hard for us to use them with love. I don't believe we should censor those words. I just hope that we can say them with more and more love. That's something I think all of us need to work on just as much as breathing into those areas, is talking about them, but talking about them with great love. Because if you love someone and they want you to fuck them, fucking them is a gift. Fucking them is not a curse or something bad. That word can mean whatever we make it mean depending on our context, depending on the love we put behind the word, or more negative emotions. But I prefer to fuck people with love, and I hope you do too. So, really relate to those parts of yourself as just parts of yourself that you love, that are fun, that you enjoy, that you like as much as any other part of yourself. The only thing about them, of course, is that our culture has taught us not to enjoy them, and then most of us learn over time that that's foolish and we're going to go ahead and enjoy them anyway. So, I hope that all of you and me will continue to practice mentally and physically working with these areas. Emotionally, when you feel those areas, you can do some work there too. One of the things I'm doing is just as I'm allowing physically things to just relax and happen, I'm also allowing emotionally, I'm allowing myself to broadcast myself as a sexual being socially, as well as feeling good about those feelings within myself. This is rewiring. This is being a better you. This is loving yourself and everyone else and letting go of all the really bad programming that we got in our brain computers when we started out. It doesn't necessarily happen all at once, though it can. It may take a while, and one thing you can do for that is just to do a little bit each day, just like me and my push-ups. Question those beliefs. Turn off negative thoughts. Turn on positive thoughts. Examine your beliefs and find new, better ones. And brainstorm and be creative about things that you can feel good about with these areas of your body. As I've said before, the primary purpose of my life and of this show is to really work with those areas that are taboo and to start changing our culture into one that is more sex positive, less judgmental of all things that smell bad, and of course, treating those powerful things the right way, being hygienic, you know, both with what we release from our bodies and in our sexual behaviors. But being hygienic doesn't mean any judgment. It doesn't mean any kind of hate. We've just demonized these areas because we almost needed a scapegoat. We needed something to feel bad about. Let's create some bad feelings so we can make people feel bad and, I guess, control them or whatever. So, let me leave it there. Let's be peaceful and happy and joyous about our first and second chakras and all the others that rise from them. I'm Joe Neely, this is The Golden Hour, and I'll talk with you tomorrow.